The CEO of the Public Relations Society of America, or PRSA, is on the record that faking one's knowledge of information is a bad thing and not something that any professional should ever do.
But never fake the work, never fake knowledge, because you're going to lead a whole bunch of people on a wild goose chase.
And you don't want to fake financials either. You'll end up the subject of a Netflix series someday.
Yes,
so.
I do not look good in orange, so never fake financials, never.
But what does it say of this very same CEO when she suddenly gives widely conflicting information about her own organization's financials? For example, did PRSA make money in 2022 or lose money? Last year, PRSA reported to the U.S. Internal Revenue Service, or IRS, in a public record, a net gain for 2022. In fact, the stated gain was more than $450,000. But only months later, PRSA's CEO reversed course. On a legally recorded call, the CEO suddenly insisted that PRSA suffered a net loss in 2022, not a net gain at all. She even claimed that not only was there a net loss, but PRSA had been completely transparent about the loss to the members. Just take a listen.
As far as I can tell, and I will be honest, I don't always read all of her things that she shares. In many cases, most of them are not shared directly with me, or she doesn't share them directly with me. But yes, there's no financial drama, misstatements. PRSA is very transparent. We did lose money in 2022. Most of that was a loss on the investment portfolio. As you know, 22 was a horrible year in the markets, and PRSA has a really substantial investment reserve, and that lost a lot of money in 22. So we did lose money in 22. Most of that, not all of it, most of that was on as a result of the investment portfolio losing so much money.
Only there was another very big problem here. If PRSA's IRS filing was to be believed, not only was a net gain shown for 2022, PRSA's investments line item also showed a positive contribution of more than $300,000 for 2022, not a loss, as the CEO claimed. Another issue. While PRSA's CEO clearly stated back in 2023 that faking knowledge is the worst thing a communicator can do, she appears to think this standard doesn't apply to her. She later stated in only offline commentary that the actual details of her own financials are well beyond her own level of expertise. Listen for yourself.
I have obviously a top-line understanding to run the organization. When it comes to things like realized versus unrealized in the 990, I have to rely on the experts because, that's preparing all those details is beyond my level of expertise.
As a result of this rather astounding new revelation, PRSA's CEO actually possesses no authentic ownership over even knowing, much less controlling, what's even represented in PRSA's financials. By only privately revealing her plausible deniability defense of "it's beyond my expertise," PRSA's CEO chooses to outsource the vital responsibility of certifying truth, honesty, or accuracy of her own financial claims. If that's not faking knowledge, then what is? So, which is it? A net gain or a net loss? This level of contradiction by PRSA leadership is par for the course, and it's a big problem. And not just a financial problem, it's also a legal problem, because PRSA national leadership also consistently fails to report its financials to members in compliance with the very specific mandates clearly codified in New York state law. And they know it. After all, future claims of plausible deniability in a court of law require that information holes are rampant. PRSA National Assembly meeting minutes for years now document those information holes rife with legal noncompliance, messaging inconsistencies, and gaslighting abuses. As a result, current PRSA national leadership is losing the trust of its own members. Are national board volunteer leaders even paying enough attention, or do they possess even the most basic fiduciary management skills to do the right thing? In other words, even if we can assume volunteer leaders mean no ill intent personally, how can they make sure the answers from staff are correct when these leaders don't even know the right questions to ask? To that point, are certain people purposely being recruited as PRSA National Chair who are well known not to have financial acumen, nor even pretend to want to know what's going on financially?
You know, it would be like an accountant telling me about some IRS tax issue. Not a clue. Isn't there a book for that? I don't know. Go to the website.
A formal written complaint and even a subsequent supplementary complaint have already been filed with the Office of the New York Attorney General. The complaints include PRSA's accounting discrepancies, reporting failures, and compliance double talk. Contact the New York AG today to ask for a full investigation of PRSA with a forensic accounting audit by an outside audit firm. And mind you, an audit firm that, unlike PRSA's own auditor of some 15 years, has not been recently sanctioned by a government authority only in recent years for breaking audit rules themselves.